Hello, good afternoon. Session is starting in 2 minutes, so please kindly join the session and tell your colleagues also to join the session also, please. Good afternoon to everyone all present here. Today, I welcome you all for the FTP organized by Chitkara University Punjab campus, Himachal campus, on technical advancements in higher education systems. Today, I welcome our resource person, Dr. Amanpreet Kaur, who is a PhD in electronics and communication engineering and having 10 years of experience in teaching research and development. Her areas of expertise are low power, VLSI design, energy efficient designs, X-Linux plan ahead, X-Power analyzers, game development using Unity 3D, modeling using 3D Maya and Blender, Euphoria SDK. Her research includes VR, MR based shooting tutors for defense training, AR based books for school students, post quantum cryptography, hardware implementation of cyber security algorithms using FPGA, MAMS sensors, embedded systems, IoT security issues and challenges. She won the Young Scientist Award at the International Conference on Green Computing and Engineering Technology (IGCET) Dubai in 2015. She has bagged uh, Erasmus scholarships from Europe Union in 2018 for semester exchange at Middle East Technical University, Ankara, Turkey. She received university research scholarships from 2013 to 2019 for pursuing PhD and ME from Chitkara University, Punjab, India. She won Research Excellence Award in year 2017 at Chitkara University, Punjab. She won consecutively received research papers incentive awards from 2019 to 2022 and won Excellence Award for extramural funding at Chitkara University, Punjab, India. She has successfully completed a government funded project named as Design and Development of MES based interior navigation system for aerial vehicles at Council of Scientists and Industrial Research Center Scientific Instruments Organization lab in Chandigarh, India in 2016. She and her team received extramural funding of Rs of rupees 57.486 lakhs from the Directorate of Extramural Research and Intellectual Property Rights, Defense Research and Development Organization (DRDO) for research projects titled Design and Implementation of an Intelligent Security Framework for Providing Confidentiality and Authentication of Defense Voice Communication using Polynomials with the FPGA implementation in March 2021. She is author and co-author of 100% research papers in the field of FPGA, MES sensors, augmented and virtual reality journals of high reputed and flagship conferences. Her 8 patents are granted and 12 patents are published and 12 patents are filled by Indian Patent Office. She is a lifetime member of of Institute of Engineering IEI India and professional member of Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. She has handled numerous international and national research projects. Currently, she is guiding 5 PhD and 2 ME scholars. She is an active member of Immersive and Interactive Labs and Center of Excellence by Security Systems and Artificial Intelligence Lab at Chitkara University Research and Innovation Network, Chitkara University, Punjab. So I welcome you, ma'am, and you can proceed with your presentation and kindly share your screen. Hello. Okay, ma'am. Okay, I will grant you the permission. You can now unmute yourself, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, sir, for the introduction. So now I would like to start my session. I'm just sharing my screen. Please let me know that whether it is visible or not.
Yeah, ma'am, you are audible. You can share your screen.
My slides are visible, sir,
Yes, ma'am. Your slides are visible.
and are they moving also? Am I on the next
Make
slide?
a slide. Ma'am, make a slide change.
Yeah, I'm changing the
Yeah, ma'am.
slides.
Yeah,
Are you able to
it's
see?
working fine.
Yeah, it is visible, na, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Okay, okay.
So, a very good afternoon to all the colleagues present over here. I would like to thank Dr. Kapil and Dr. Preeta for giving us this opportunity to share our thoughts in the field of game design and recent advancements. So, since Dr. Bhanu has already told you about our lab, so we are the member of Immersive and Interactive Technologies Lab, and we are situated in Chitkara University, Punjab campus. Basically, we are the part of the CURE, Chitkara University Research and Innovation Network. So, we are more into the research and development activities over here in the university, and in our lab we are majorly working in the field of education, defense training, tourism, and other projects. So we are working on the technologies like AR, VR, metaverse, game theory, 3D design, 2D designs, and so on. So that is why this opportunity has been given to us. So I hope I shall be able to justify my title. So I would like to start the presentation with the tagline: "The joy of learning in study is as indispensable as of breathing is in running." So I hope you are going to enjoy and learn new things from this presentation. So the first question I would like to start with, like, what is the difference between a software, a game, and a movie? So any of the participants, they can answer me, or they can write in the chat box. Kapil sir can tell me what have they written. So can you please tell me the difference between a software, a game, or a movie? Any one of you?
Ma'am, software is a predefined where you can put the specific inputs and output. While a
Right.
game, in game you have different inputs and different outputs depending on your output. And movie is the predefined whether the input is something else or not. The in output will be the same in the direction only. But in game and software, you can change the output on the basis of your input.
But still, there's a difference between a game and a software as well. So the major and the very main difference between these two are the interactivity. So interactivity is what that makes games differ from movies and other art forms. Although we can interact with the software as well, but the amount of interactivity that we have in the games is much more in comparison to the software, and we don't interact in case of movies. So it is a kind of a passive transmission. So we are just getting the things. But in case of software, rather we are giving the inputs, though we are getting the outputs as per the given inputs, but the interactivity is there in the games. That is why everybody in this world is getting so much attracted towards the games, right from a kindergarten to an older people even. A survey has been done, a recent survey has been done. I was going through the various studies, and it has been found that even the elder people are also liking playing games a lot, because they feel so alone. No one is there to talk to them at home, so that's why they are making them busy while playing the games and getting rewards also. So that is why interactivity is the one thing that makes the game different from the other art forms. The content of the game as the medium is what that makes it differ from the other softwares. So games are an interactive medium. Obviously, games are more fun in comparison to the other art forms. So in the earlier days, we were talking about the indoor and outdoor games only. So nowadays, the types of games, if we ask somebody, so nowadays we are getting the answers like a 2D or a 3D game. So this icon might be known to, I think, all of us who are present in this Zoom session. This is a Mario icon. And in the earlier days, we were having a 2D Mario icon. Even I also played Mario a lot at my times. So now we are having a 3D Mario. So these days, the types of games have been converted from indoor to outdoor to 2D and 3D. So in the 2D games, we have a parallel projection, we have a top-down perspective, side scrolling. Rather, sometimes they are also being visible as a 2.5D. But on the other hand, if you talk about the 3D, you can very well see the difference in the icon as well. So the character is there, this character itself is known as Mario, and in the 3D icon we can see the shadow also. So that is why it is a 3D thing. And in the 2D icon we are not able to see any of the shadow. So in the 3D games we are having a fixed 3D objects, and it can be a first person perspective or third person perspective. So now let us see what is a first and third person perspective. Basically, if we ourselves are playing and if we are doing the scrolls and we the same actions are getting replicated in the game, that is a first person perspective. But if some other character is there in the game that is playing in behalf of you and that is replicating the things that you are doing, that is known as third person perspective. So all the 3D games are either made in the first person or the third person perspective. So either the things or actions which we are doing, so they are getting directly reflected into the games, or on the other hand, some of the character in the game are replicating us. They are doing the things on behalf of us. So this is so, and this is all about the 2D and the 3D games. So I would like to tell the participants that you, if you found any queries in between also, so you can very well interrupt me. I'll be more than happy to answer your queries. So now let us see the stage of the game development. So game when we play, so we think that it is so easy to make develop a game, to design a game, but it is not really so. Game development itself is a huge process. So if I talk about the three major milestones in the process of the game development, the first one is the pre-production, then comes the production, and then comes the post-production. So post-production is much more important in comparison to the pre and the production part. So if I talk about the pre-production, we discuss about the game idea, and then we refine, and so, and we take the reviews from the reviewers, we take the feedback from the experts, and then finally we come up with the whole idea of the game. And we met so many subject experts as well for this process. Then comes the actual production part. So in the actual production, what do we do? Basically, it consists of three major tasks: game design, game development, and then game testing. So designing and I'm going to cover the aspects of game design because our title is game design and the recent advancement. So game development is altogether a different process, and then come the testing, because without testing anything we cannot say that whether it is working for the reason for what it has been made or not. So basically we have to check whether it is giving the required outputs at the given input or not. So all these things comes into the part of the production. And then the majorly the most important part is the post production. We have to test the game, we have to deploy the game, and then again we have to release the alpha version, beta version, and then finally the gold master. So it is not so easy to release a game on a play store. So we have to test, we have to deploy the various versions on the game, and then finally after getting all the feedback, all the reviews, so we are releasing the gold master, that is known as the final game that is there on the play store. And then comes the marketing. But obviously if we just upload the game on the play store, it is of no fun in case if we don't advertise it, in case if we don't marketize it, right? So basically marketing is again playing a very vital role in case of the any of the game development process. So if we don't do the marketing, we don't get the audience. If we don't get the audience, then we it shall be of no use for anybody. So that is why all these three stages are equally important, but post production is taking much more time because we have to finally make it to reach the audience. Then if I talk about the process of game development, so right from choosing a game idea, so we should select the idea whether we are going to make a game on the sports theme, or we want to make it on the entertainment sort of thing, or we want to make it sort of a defense training or so. First of all, we have to decide the theme of the game, and then comes the game concept. So before starting any of the design and the development, a whole document has been prepared. That document is known as a game document, and in that document each and every step has to be written describably. Because see, if we are playing any game, many interfaces are coming, and if we're clicking on the one of the icon, then it comes to the next window. If we're clicking back, then it's going back. So all those icons should be mentioned very clearly and precisely in the game document. Then only designers and developers shall be able to do their work in a full mode. Otherwise they will be confused some or the other way. So that is why before starting the development or the design, we have to pen down each and everything, and that document is known as the game document. And then we have to select a mobile app platform. I mean, we have to select whether we have to going develop the game for a mobile platform, I mean for iOS or for Android, then we have to decide again it should be a mobile game or a desktop game. Then we should again also decide the softwares which we are going to use in order to develop a game, be it a Unreal, be it a Unity, or for the designing, either we are going to use Blender software or Maya or 3D Max and so on. So everything has to be pre-decided in order to start the designing or the development of a game. Then again we have to make a design document. Then we have to make the game structure. So what comes after what? So we have to make the whole hierarchy of the game, and then we have to plan for the wireframing. After making the structure, then we should see about all the levels which we are going to implement in the game in order to reach the final stage. And then we have to write the code, and then again we have to do the testing, the same thing we are doing in the software as well. So until or unless it won't get tested, so it is of no use. Then we have to select the right monetizing strategy. Yes, definitely true. If we do not marketize it in a proper way, then again will be end up in the law. So that is why there should be a proper strategy regarding that aspect as well. And then finally are releasing the game application, and then we should be very careful about the post release support and the maintenance. So maintenance is also playing a vital role in case we are giving to we are going to upload the different updates. So we should be very particular when to upload the updates and what changes should it bring and how it should be so good that the audience should be engaged with the game. So level by level, the we should be much more conscious about the engagement of the users, because users might like the level 1 or level 2, but what will we inculcate in level 3 so that users must be more engaged in that game. So that is why the once the game gets uploaded on the Play Store, so then the work starts again on the research part, that what should be added furthermore in the game in order to attract more and more audience. The next comes the game design process. So we start with the game concept. We made the whole concept of the game, that on what theme we have to make it. Very important thing is we have to see the target audience as well. So either we are targeting a kindergarten students, or we are targeting adults, or we are targeting the older people. So as per their thinking, as per their actions, we are supposed to make the game. So we should pre-think these things, that what will they do, how will they do if they come across this thing. So all these aspects should be well taken care of at the time of the game design document. Then we see the gameplay. So what effect should be there if I am going to say, if I'm talking about a shooting game, so if I'm going to shoot, then after shooting where a trigger should go, and then what should increase. So there should be a bar also that can be increased, or there might be scores that are going to increase, or I might get some reward. So all those play things, I mean what happens after, but all the cause and effect things are had to be decided earlier. And then comes the game art, the whole designing of the game, including the 3D objects, including the environment, including the characters. So all these things should be decided well in advance for the process of game designing. And then nowadays we all know that we are, as VR has come into the existence, VR technology, virtual reality technology, the gaming industry has taken a high growth in terms of economics. So economically, now we it is on the higher end, and gaming area is the one which is utilizing the best of the virtual reality technology. So the highest money, highest economy has been reached with the help of VR in the gaming industry. So that is why it has reached to a level after the VR technology. That is why this head-up display has to be decided well in advance again, that which head-up display should be used in order to play the particular game. So we do have many sort of headsets with us right now. So that again depends upon the technology. A headset can be a AR headset, a headset can be a VR headset, a headset can be both AR and VR headset as well. And nowadays we are having um, mixed reality as well. HoloLens is there. We have MetaQuest and many other headsets. So we should decide well in prior, because all the headsets are running all together with the different software. Some are standalone devices, some are running with the help of a system. So we should see all the things. I mean, right from the technical things to the design things, we should be well prepared in advance. Then comes the game mechanics, what should move, and then we should see what scores we should give at the time of the winning, and how should they reach to the next level, and then after reaching the next level how the difficulty should be increased. So all those mechanical things should also be taken care of. And then comes the software framework at the target platform. So we should see whether we are going to develop the game for the iOS or the Android or the desktop or and so on. So all these things should be very taken care of before starting the game design. So let us discuss about the types of game designs. So while designing a game, we should see all these factors. The first one is the system design. It involves the creating the core mechanics, balancing gameplay, and ensuring that the overall system provide a compelling and enjoyable experience. So in case the audience will not enjoy, then they'll not play, because why they are playing game, ultimately they are playing the game in order to get some amusement. Already there's a lot of stress around us, and we are so much busy in doing this and that. So that is why game is like a stress buster for us, right? So in case if we don't get enjoy while playing the game, then why will play the game? So that is why we should be very particular about this factor. Then comes the level design. So it involves placing the obstacles, enemies, items, and other interactive elements to guide the player's experience and maintain a balance of the challenge and the engagement. Truly sad, because we can not only see the enjoyment factor, and we should be particular about the game as well, na? Like if I will say that even if one will not shoot at the right point also, so we should give them score. This should not be going this way. So that's why there should be a equal balance between a challenge and engagement. So one should feel engaged also, and one should feel competitive also at the same time. So they should be in a hunger of going to the next level or the next stage. So that emotion should be created. So game designing or development is not only a theoretical part or a practical thing, it is related to the emotions as well. So we have to think and we have to build those things so that they should be emotionally attached as well with the games. Then comes the narrative design. So it develops plot lines, character arcs, dialogues, and lore to the enhance the game's immersion and the emotional impact. As I've just told you, dialogue should be like that, and one should feel encouraged if they really shoot the right target, and if they're really achieving the target, so they should be given some rewards, and some audio rewards should be there also, so that they feel engaged and immersed as well. So all these things are very important in the game designing. Then comes the user experience. So it aims to create an intuitive, user friendly experience that maximizes the player engagement and enjoyment. Again, I have just told you that the experience altogether should be so much immersive as well as user friendly. So we should not give such a difficult things to them by thinking just that there should be something innovative. That is quite good that game should be innovative, but we should at the same time should also see that it must be user friendly also. I mean, any layman should understand that what are they supposed to do next. So games are speaking by themselves. So in some of the games we do have manuals in which they are telling us that we have to do this, we have to do that. I mean, most of the games we don't have. So they are self-explainable games. So we should keep this in our mind that we should make a thing like that, that we should use the common thing so that anyone should know what to do the next and what are they going to get if they do this and if they do that. Then comes a user interface. So it involves designing menus, head-up displays, icons, and other visual elements that players interact with during the game. So user interface consists of basically, if you are seeing the screen of your laptop, it is again a user interface. So you are interfacing with it. Similarly, if we are playing a game, the first interface that comes up, it's a user interface itself, because you click on the start, then it gets start. Then again the next interface comes again. You do some interaction and then you start playing the game. So all these are interfaces, and why they use interfaces? Because user is able to interact with those interfaces. Then comes the sound. So it enhances the atmosphere, mood, and overall auditory experience of the game. So if we are playing some of the games, some of the racing game is there, so there should be a loud voice so that one should race as fast as possible. On the other hand side, if it's a shooting game, so there should be a smoother audio so that one should target on the uh, basically one should focus on the target particularly. So that is why it again depends upon the theme of the game. So what sort of auditory experience should be given to the user? So if I talk about the monetization, so it involves integrating in game purchases, advertisements, or subscription models while maintaining a balance that is fair to players as well. So we should be seeing the models. So there are many models in order to launch the application of the Play Store. So it can be on the subscription model, or we can rather call some of the advertisement also, so that we can earn some money from them also. So rather it happens with us also when we are playing some sort of game. Sometimes some advertisement comes, So this is a mode of generating economy, one mode of generating economy, and another model is like subscription model. If we subscribe and then if we pay more, then we are going to get the another updates and the another levels of the game. So there are different modes that are solely dependent upon the maker of the games and how they want to launch their game. But at the same side, they should be thinking about the users as well, then how users will feel it more economic also. Then comes the gameplay programming. So it translates the design concepts into code, ensuring that the game functions as intended and addressing technical challenges related to the gameplay. So again, programming is a deal in the game design. So we should go for the as possible as optimized things. Because if we talk about the AR or the VR games, so what is the problem there? Since we have so many 3D objects, and in the case of AR, so we are supposed to have a marker, we are supposed to have the 3D characters, we are supposed to have the thing which is going to show of, over the virtual market. So virtual things, real things, everything has to inculcate. So that is why sometimes application becomes so heavy that our phone gets hanged. Or on the other hand, sometimes what happens that while playing the application, if we are doing some of the action, it doesn't go. So it is not doing the same particular thing which is supposed to do. So that is why in order to avoid all such things, one should optimize the programming, one should optimize the model to the maximum level. So without losing the features, without losing the actual characters or the actual plays, we should optimize the designs as well as we should optimize the programming. But we should not compromise with the 3D graphics of the game, else it will not attract the audience. So both the things should go hand in hand. Then comes the economic design. So it balances the in-game economy to prevent inflation or imbalance, ensuring a satisfying progression for the players. So the design should be as economical as possible for the users as well as for the makers, as I have just told you. So a balance should be maintained so that no one should be in the loss. There should be a win-win situation for the maker as well as for the user. And then comes the multiplayer design. It involves creating game modes, matchmaking systems, and social features to enhance the player interaction and the competition. Again, nowadays there are so many multiplayer games as well. So people are sitting at their places and then they are getting combined in a media and then they are playing with themselves or with. And rather, if someone is sitting far away in another country or another zone, also then also it is possible to play a multiplayer game. So again, it is another adding factor that is there in the recent games. So now let us see. I hope the things are getting understandable to all of you. Is there any doubts or queries by now? Anyone from the audience? Any queries? Or shall I move further?
Ma'am, the doubts will be asked in the last 5 minutes, so you can continue with your PPT, ma'am.
Right, sir. Right. Fine. So now let us see the key elements of a game. So as if now we have seen that the game design development aspects, we have seen the different stages like production, pre-production, post-production, and so. So now let us talk about the key elements of the game that should not be ignored at any point of time, and we should be very particular about these elements. The first one is the challenges. So these map to the learning goals. So these days, now the new terms are also coming like gamified education, learning through games, so educational games. So that is why, so we should also see that how we are giving the information to them in a playway mode. These things should also be taken care of, well taken care of rather, that parents are also very much uh, attentive these days. They are not just letting their kids play anything if they want to play. So they are also very particular that which game is giving some sort of learning things to them also. So that is why some learning goals should be set for a particular game in order to impart some of the knowledge as well. Then comes the level. So they map to the learning path and help learners with the proficiency gain. Definitely we should have different levels, then only it gives some sort of motivation. In case if in a game there is only one level, then all the time we can win and we can have the scores, then what is the fun of playing that game, right? So we should have levels and we should always be ready to achieve the next levels. Then comes instant feedback. So this help learners understand where they stand and help them in stepping up their learning. So if we don't get the instant feedback, and in case if we get the feedback after the game gets over, then again it is of no use. So that is why the action which we take, we should always see the reaction of that, and we should get a feedback that whether we have done it in the right way or not, or how can we further improvise it. So that instant feedback is playing a vital role in the engagement of the users. Then comes the score. So they provide accomplishment and gratification to the learner. So it gives a sense of motivation and satisfaction. True. So that is why it is equally important. We should give the scores. We should give the badges as well. We can give the motivation in terms of badges. They provide the recognition for the significant achievements, and then there can be leaderboards also. They provide the analytics and help learners to focus on the terminal objectives. We can show them like how much have they scored in how much time and how much shorts and so on. So this will give them a whole feedback of things what they have done. Then they can, then competition should be there. This helps learners to assess where they stand against the others. And then collaboration, this encourages team building and leveraging one peers or experts to meet the goal. So collaboration is playing I have just mentioned in the previous slide as well. Multiplayer things are getting integrated nowadays in order to collaborate and in order to learn from each other more. That is why these things are being more given more importance and more weightage these days, because it is the need of the time, because we all are sitting at our homes and we are so busy in the social media or in the phones that we don't have any time to go and talk to the people, to discuss with the people and to learn from them. So that is why now the things we are busy in, so in that things only the collaboration are being invited and being done, so that one should be little bit social active as well, and we should learn from others as well. So we cannot be one cannot be a perfect one in all the things. So there's always a learning and there's no age of learning as well. So that is why we always keep on learning. And when we're playing with the other partners, so we can see their plus points and we can hide our negativities, and then in this way we can complement each other, and then we can finally win the game as a team. So that is why collaborative learning is being imparted with the help of these sort of games as well. So now let us see the various categories of the game. So a game can be action game also, like in that load of enthusiasm is required. So we're killing the people, so we are going and we are running and then we are winning. So these sort of games comes under the action games. And then comes the ideal game. So it's like a slow and steady games, like Candy Crush. So we are doing something and we're getting happy, then we're getting rewards for that. So it is a slow motion sort of games. So we're getting the rewards as soon as we are hitting the target. Then come the role playing games. So there are some sort of games I have just mentioned in which our avatar is playing or our characters are being played. So we are playing any of the characters either. So those sort of games are known as role playing games, that we are playing the role of some of the another characters. Then come the simulation games. It's totally a software based game. So we are doing the actions and we see the cause and effect of those things. And the another major category is sports. So there are so many sport games in the playstations also. We can play the badminton, we can play the football. So there are so many haptic devices as well, so we can see the cause and effects, what actions we are doing. We can see the reactions as well on the same time on the screen. And rather, if I'm at my place, so I can play a badminton and somebody virtually is playing with me, so I can have the same feel as if I am playing the real badminton. So now with the help of the gadgets we have in the market, so everything and anything is possible nowadays. And then comes the strategy games like chess, if I talk about. So in that they are basically useful in order to giggle our mind cells. So our mind cells get giggled and then they started working more fast in a more quicker way. So that is why games are having so many positive factors and aspects as well. Because if I talk about 5 years ago, then people are taking games as like a wastage of time. So parents are not liking that their kids should play the game, or whosoever is playing game, so we are considering them as so free they are. But actually not. Nowadays it has taken altogether a different zone. So I have mentioned the various names as well. We have a gamified education, we have a learning through games, we have educational games as well. So although they are games, but they are imparting so much of useful information as well. And if I talk about the chess, it is really very useful for our brains. And if I talk about another card games, there are many card games in which we are making the strategy in order to win. So they are actually tingling our mind cells, and we are learning the new strategies in order to win the things. So that is why we are learning some of the other way from the games. So if talk about the evolution in the game industry, so right from that, in the layman terms, we call it as GTA, and so we used to play in the earlier days, the childhood days. And then comes the checkers, and we also have like a zero cross game called it zero kata. And so then comes the checkers, and then slowly comes the board games. Rather, board games are again gaining the attention these days as well, because people are fed up with the screen time, because all the time they are supposed to sit in the on their laptops, on their offices or the workplaces. So that is why board games are the market in the board game is again getting hike, and now people are getting more interested in the again in the board games. So but this time they need something innovative, something new. But truly it is truly sad, because I have been to one of the cohorts that happened in the Makers Asylum in Mumbai. So I was there for whole 10 days, and there we have worked from like on one of the project, right from the idea to the prototype. And then there are many people who have brought their board games, and it is getting into the market like anything. So I also get to know that again these games are regaining their places which were there earlier in the last decades. And then comes the era of the video games, PC games, and then in between, with the advent of these technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality, again these sort of games have come into the existence. So these technologies I am not touching today, because I am going to leave an altogether different session on the AR in education. So there I am going to explain you about these technologies in detail. But for as if now we should know only about the names. And then comes the tablet games, and then mobile games, and finally consoles. So basically consoles are the devices that are there to help us in order to play the game in a more interactive and immersive way, right? So we do have handheld controllers, we do have headsets, we do have so many haptic devices, we have rather haptic jackets as well, we have rather whole suit, haptic suit is there, that is getting attached with the various parts of our body. Sensors are there, and they're sensing our motions, and they're replicating into the screen. So this is the basically evolution in the game industry, right from a simple game we have been moved to such a complex systems, right? So, if I talk about the benefits of the video games, so first of all, it enhances your memory, but obviously, yes, because we are focusing on something particularly. So, definitely, your mind cells are working, and they're working fast, right? So, it improve your eyesight as well. So, it has both the meanings. Eyesight in the means, like if we are focusing on something, that then our eyesight gets increased. But if we are giving more screen time, that is going to have adverse effects as well. But in case of the shooting games, and in case of the games in which we are supposed to focus somewhere, so in that very case it can improve our eyesight as well. And it improves your coordination. If we are supposed to know, like if enemy is coming from that side, this side, and from all the sides, then how should we react, and how fast and apt and appropriately we should act. So all these things are getting well advanced with the help of these sort of games. Then we are able to make the better decisions. But only yes, because if we want to play a game and we want to reach the next level, so we should survive. So for the survival, so we will do everything that is possible, right? So that is why we are able to get the better and better decision in the next and next go. So it is helpful in increasing the decision making power as well. Definitely it is reducing the stress. So it is, I've just told you, just like a stress buster. So we are feeling so amused, so enjoyable, and that is why they are very useful for some part of the day. We can definitely try the games. And then we treat the clinical depression as well. I have just quoted in the starting that these days the survey has been done, and it has been found that elderly people are also playing the games a lot, and they're enjoying it, because they're already so much alone at the homes. They are feeling so much of depression from after being alone at the home. So to avoid that loneliness, they are making games their friends. So that is why it is helpful in reducing the depression as well. Rather have just talk about the VR technology, and with the help of VR headsets, so many health treatments are being given across the globe. So the people who are suffering from the cancer, they are having the huge pains, the high pains. So these sort of VR headsets and the games and the videos which we can watch through the headset, it is giving so much of calmness and patience to specifically those patients who are actually dealing with the high pains, who are dealing with the high pressures. So it is giving so much of smoothing things. Again, if we talk about the physiotherapy, so the people who are not able to actually go to the physiotherapist because of some of the health issues, or because some of the atmospheric issues, if there is ice or cold outside, or if there is another atmospheric conditions, I mean worst atmospheric conditions. So by sitting at their home, they can very well do the physiotherapy with the sort of head by wearing headset, and they can be get guided by the doctor sitting on the remote places. And in any other case, if someone is feeling that they are not fit to go to the doctor, Suppose if someone is so healthy and obese, I would say, and they don't want to show their face to doctors, like they are feeling embarrassed about themselves, that they are feeling uh, being embarrassed being after being obese. So that in that case also they can have a virtual interaction with the doctor who is sitting at the remote place. So this is all made true with the help of the technologies like VR. So it was nowhere before that, but after the inculcation of VR in the market, the things have really got changed. So in this way, many treatments are being given with the help of these games, specifically the virtual reality games. And if I talk about the recent advancements, so there are majorly six factors which are the latest ones in the game industry, and then because of these factors, the industry has taken altogether a new shape and a new heights. So increased diversity. I'm going to start from the right end. Increased diversity and the audience. So we can see a picture of a girl and a old man. So now the diversity has been increased. So in the last decades, we can say only kids were playing the games, be it an indoor outdoor game or be it any other game. No adults or no elder people were involved. But nowadays, all age group people are equally involved in the games as per their age or as per their interest and requirement. Then comes the mobile gaming, definitely true. The time when the games are there in our hands, and then 24 by 7, these are like anytime, any type games. So with the help of this mobile gaming, the things are getting more easier and we can access the things the time as we want to access. So that is why it has given a new advancement to this industry. Next generation consoles. So console means all the haptic devices that we have, all the sensors that we have, all the gadgets that we have with us, with the help of which this industry is giving more sense of immersion and immersiveness. So that immersiveness is the thing which is attracting so many audience, because people feel that they're actually in that environment. So they feel so, and if we feel something, then there is no end, like then so we go for the infinity as well, right? So those emotions are getting generated by these sort of headsets. Then the business models such as free to play, they are in place. So we are generally not paying for any of the games, like the more general games like Subway Surfer and so on. So we are Candy Crush, and so we are not paying anything, right? So that is why, because of these flexibilities, we are able to play more and more games, and it is uh, there with the game industry, there it is able to attract more and more audience. Then come the digital distribution, but obviously digitally now everyone having a phone, right from the mediator of home to the VC or the C of the university. Everyone is having the smartphone. So that is why digitally we are getting strong day by day, and that is why we are able to distribute it amongst to the maximum audience, and then people are able to play the games and get amusement and so on. And the foremost factor is the cloud gaming and streaming. So after the cloud computing has come into the existence, so the things have got much more easy. I have just told you a problem that we are facing in the AR and VR games, that sometimes application gets so heavy. So with the help of cloud, we are able to mark that obstacle as well. So now we are, what are we doing basically? So we are uploading the things on the cloud, and at the playtime we are taking the things back from the cloud itself. Only the internet activity is required. If it is there, then we are able to come up that obstacle as well. So that is why these are the major factors and the major advancements that has brought a lot of change in the game industry. So if we talk about the game development tools, right from the engines, we have Unreal Engine, we have Unity, Game Maker, Godot, and many more. But most of the professionals, they are either using Unreal or Unity. Rather, Unity is like user friendly. It can be used by a beginner also. It can be used by a one who is quite proficient in the Unity as well, or quite proficient in the gaming or in the coding as well. So it is like a easy go engine. But if I talk about the Unreal, it is having a little bit more complexity in comparison to Unity, but though it has many high features. So that is why professionally, if I talk about, the many people are using Unreal. But if I talk about for the research aspect, so many people are using Unity only. So on the other side, if we talk about the coding programming, we have Visual Studio. Visual Studio is there in the Unity as well. Then we have GNU Toolchain. We have C++, we have C Sharp also as well. Java and other web languages are there in order to develop the game. Rather, we have many softwares in there. We can only do drag and drop. Like we have a Scratch. So in Scratch, even a school going kid, rather in class 4 or 5, they can also very well make their own game. because they just have to drag and drop the objects, they just have to place them on the screen and then they can start playing. So now it is very very easy to develop a game rather instead of just playing it. So we have many mobile gaming like Marmalade, Arm, and so. Then we have arts and design also. We have Photoshop, Game Blender, we have Maya, we have 3D Max. So many softwares are there, and Blender is like open available software. We need not to purchase it even. So that is why we are having so much opportunity with us, that we can very well design our own game, we can develop our own game, and playing is definitely much more easy than these things. So if we talk about the game engines, I have just mentioned you that Unity has gained the more marketing case as far as research things are concerned. And if we talk about the professional things, then Unreal is also playing the equal. Then we have another engines like Cry Engine, Game Maker Studio, Construct 2, Coco Studio X, and many more engines are there. But these are the top most amongst all the available gaming engines that we have in the market. Now we're going to test some of the aspects of the Unity 3D, because I know we are from the different variable background, so I want you to at least know something about Unity 3D, because it is very easy software, it is very easy to run, and rather Unity's website is so helpful that they themselves have given so much of tutorials. And even if we are not knowing anything about the coding also, they are telling us that you have to copy these lines here, these lines there, and then we shall be able to make our own game. And believe me, when you will develop your own first game, you will feel so pleased and so amazed that yes, we have developed the game. By that time we were only playing the game, but now we are able to make our own game also. So that is why I'm going to touch some of the aspects of Unity 3D. So if any one of you is getting a little bit motivated, or if any one of you is more interested in this area, so they can very well try with this Unity 3D and they can have their own games. Rather, I also have made my first game in the Unity itself, and I also felt so happy at that time. So I'm just going to highlight some of the point of the Unity 3D, because it is very easy to use also. So it is all in one editor. That is why it is an engine node editor only. So 2D and 3D support, we have the support of the 2D as well as the 3D objects. And foremost thing that we have AI path finding tools. So we can integrate. So we have different path finding algorithms like BFS, DFS, A star, and so on. So all these algorithms we can very well merge with the Unity software. And then one of my PhD scholars is working on the same thing, and basically we are developing one of the VR application. And in that VR application, we are utilizing the path finding algorithm in order to find out the optimized algorithm specifically for the VR application. So now AI is very much available in the Unity software. There can be rapid iterations and high developer community. That is the best part of the Unity. So Unity 3D feature-rich game engine and editor as well. So best and the most popular game engine. So cross-platform game creation system that we can have the input from the multiple platforms, and we can rather also build the game on the platform as per the requirement. It multi-platform publishing is there. We can have a iOS game, we can have an Android game, we can have the game for the desktop, we can have the game for the mobile. All the things are available in the Unity. It is having a great asset pipeline as well. So we have many things that are there already built in the Unity. We just have to import those things in the particular project, and then we can use those things. And good documentation and the high community. So it is having a very large community. That is why people are using it, developing the things, and then those things are being made as an asset in the asset pipeline. That is why, because of being having the largest community, it is highly being used by the researchers specifically and the beginners as well. So what can Unity do for you? A Unity can do a rendering for you. A Unity can do animation for you. You can definitely add any of the audio file in the Unity. Rather, we can also include the concept of the physics and the rigid body. That is not actually in the other softwares, except the Unreal or so. So we can see the effect, like if the ball is there, then ball can rest in the air as well in the Unity. So those features can be very well easily visible in the Unity, and we can use those features in any of our game. Then we can give the input in any of the forms. We can have multiple resources. Scripting can be done in the Unity. We have the AI features there, and networking. So anything you just think of, you find it in the Unity. That is why it's a multi-platform and multi-purpose editor. So you can do many things at being on the one editor itself. So Unity games runs, our action should be as prompt as possible, right? So in that very case, particularly we are trying to find out the optimized AI algorithm for the pathfinding thing. So that is the research which we're working upon. So we are basically implementing the various pathfinding algorithms, AI algorithms, and then we are going to optimize one of them, right? This is the one way. On the other hand side, I have just discussed about the problem that we are facing in the AR and VR game because of the high amount of data. So in that very case, basically we are comparing the things. So in one of the case, we are developing the game on the mobile, and then we are putting it on the cloud, and then we are running it from the cloud real time. On the other hand side, we're developing the game in the phone itself, and then we are playing it while using the phone only, that we are taking the data from the phone itself. Now then we are comparing the various features, then we are able to see so many new things that are there. So there are many factors, like I talk about the computing power, I talk about the storage of the system, I talk about the speed, I talk about the clarity. So there are many factors that we are talk about the robustness, talk about the accuracy. So all these things are the research areas in the AR and the VR
Okay.
technologies.
And then the next question is in COVID period also, parents usually see games as a negative effect on the child and the screen time that they are getting addicted to it. Instead of learning things, they are getting addiction of playing games. So, what is the your like opinion on that?
Yes, I have just told you screen time is definitely bad, rather not only for kids, for all of us, because it is directly affecting our eyes. So that is why now the trend has got changed. In spite of just having the games, now they are coming up with the educational games, with the gamified education. So at the time of playing, we are trying to impart some of the knowledge as well. But definitely true, the time of the screen should be as less as possible. I mean, it should be played in a particular time, and then after that, it should be switched off. Like this thing has to be kept in mind always, because in COVID there was no other go, because one has to have sit in the home and then they have to see the screens. But the only thing is that one is like we can provide something useful to them with the help of these sort of games. Second thing is we can particularly tell them to play this thing, or practice this thing for this particular time, then stop it. So this is the way of controlling this thing, but there is no way of just getting ridden it off, because in case if we don't use it, or we don't tell our students to use it, then they'll be left apart. Like already we are running a bit behind as compared to the other European countries, or I would talk about the UK or US. So we should know that how to use these things. And believe me, in the other countries like Europe, students are using AR in their school also. I mean, the teachers are teaching them with the AR based books. So the tablet is there, and then the teacher is scanning some of the figure, and the students are able to see the things. I'm going to elaborate it more in the next lecture. So it is equally and believe me, sooner or later, in next 5 or 10 years, we are going to study with the metaverse only. Like I shall be at my own place, you will be at your own place, and then students will be at their own place, and then we are going to get together in some of the virtual platform, and then from virtual platform we will be going to another virtual platform as well. Suppose a teacher is teaching about a car mechanism, right? So while teaching in the class, teacher will take us to the mechanical workshop as well. So these things are not very far away. So we should just not leave these things, but we should control our own things, that we should use them for a particular time, because excess of everything is really bad. But these things are not really bad. The point that we should use them for a particular time, and in a prescribed time we should take the maximum utility of these things.
Thank you, ma'am. Your presentation is good, and I really appreciate and welcome you again next time. So thank you, ma'am, from the Chitkara University, Himachal Pradesh, and the FTP that we are organizing. I thank you for your valuable time and for your presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Any other queries from the audience? uh, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I think Vijay wants to say something.
Sir?
So any queries?
No, no,
I'm
no.
not able to hear.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. We'll
All
see
the
you soon
participants can
tomorrow day after
leave the Zoom
tomorrow.
meeting, and
Yeah.
feedback form will be shared soon on the WhatsApp group.